Welcome to the ballpark. Today we have ourselves a classic in the making. The number 1 seed Riptide take on the number 2 seed Arroyo Seco Saints here at the University of Concordia Irvine. Welcome, my name is Michael Hofling. And the Riptide, we're off to a spectacular win streak before the All-Star break, and then Riptide kept it hot going during the All-Star break. We'll talk more about that. And now they look to extend this hot streak into the first game after the All-Star break, just one day after, against this Saints team. On the mound today for the Riptide is going to be Ricky Reynoso. Reynoso has had himself a fine year for the Riptide, been very serviceable and at times efficient, in fact. He's going to be facing Gabe Chavez to lead things off. Reynoso, number 26, from Bonita Vista, where he led the league with a .78 ERA his senior year. That's phenomenal. First pitch from the lefty Reynoso. Fastball at the knees on the inside corner as well. Strike one. Chavez, the leadoff man for this team. Not an all-star, though. Earlier in the year when these teams have met, hasn't been Chavez in the number 1 spot. Usually it's been Mossberg, but today Mossberg working out of the 4 spot. He's going to be the cleanup man. Mossberg fresh off an All-Star game appearance as well. There's a breaking ball that falls outside. 1-2. Ewell gets the sign, the delivery from Reynoso. Fastball fouled off to the right side and out of play. Count will remain 1-2. Let's go through the lineup for the visiting Saints. Gabriel Chavez to lead things off, followed by Brandon Shearer, Blake Burton, Spencer Mossberg's in the cleanup spot, Corey Harold, a DH, he'll be hitting 5, Tyler Derna, Alex Briggs, Joshua McGee, and Mitch Kerner to round things out. The 1-2 fastball at the knees, he got him looking. So that's how we get this game underway. A 5-pitch strikeout from Reynoso. A frozen rope that really froze Chavez. Bat left his shoulder only once, that entire at-bat, and that's when he fouled it off. Just a pitch before. Now the 2 spot is going to be the lefty Brandon Shearer. Lefty on lefty matchup. Reynoso kicks and fires. Here's a foul ball to the left side, out of play. Keep in mind, if you are at the ball game, any fan who gets a foul ball to the dugout will get a free popsicle at the Snack Shack. I've yet to do so because I can't leave this post. 0-1 the count. Reynoso firing from the left side of the rubber. There's a fastball that falls low and away, just below the knees probably. 1-1. Between these two teams, 11 All-Stars. In fact, these two teams made up just under half of the South's All-Star squad. And why wouldn't they be? They are first and second place teams. However, there isn't not a single Saints got a hit. 3 Riptide hits. 2 of them were for home runs, and that third one, a triple. So the Riptide really strutted their stuff. 1-2. Grounded to the first baseman, Polson, who has it on 2 hops, a couple feet from first. He'll just mosey on over to the bag and record out number 2. So 2 quick outs is going to bring up the 3 spot, Blake Burton.
Next up, the left fielder, number 9, Blake Burton.
Yesterday, Burton 0 for 2 in the All-Star game with a run batted in. Here he looks to get the first hit of the ball game, and he takes a changeup that falls low, 1-0. Burton has been a menace for the Riptide. These two teams are 2-2 right now in the regular season against one another. They took the season opener, and Burton drove in one of those 2 runs, a 2-0 final it was. And then in the other 3 games, he's combined for a batting average just below 320. So he has been very good against the Riptide. He's been good all season. That's why he was an All-Star. 2-0 in the pitch. Swung on and missed a big hack. 2-1. This is the final meeting between these two teams in the regular season. And you yet to see if either of these teams, which one of these teams will make the playoffs via the division or via the wild card. The wild card is still up for grabs, although these days it seems like it might be easier to get the division than the wild card, with the two top teams in the conference both being in the North Division. Deuces are wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Reynoso, the first inning is very strong. A weak ground ball to first base was the only thing that wasn't a strikeout. We head to the bottom of the first. It's going to be the Riptide. Parente, Phillip, and Fletcher when we come back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the University of Concordia Irvine. It's going to be the leadoff man for the Riptide here in the bottom of the first, Joey Parente, as it has been all season long. Parente chatting it up with the home plate umpire, Heath Jones. Having himself a spectacular season, near the top of the CCL leaderboards in terms of both batting average and stolen bases. Top 5 in stolen bases, in fact. They're going to be facing Junpei Akanuma. First pitch to Parente. The lefty takes a ball that falls low and away, 1-0. Akanuma, a righty from Lee University. 5'11", 185. Actually bats left-handed but throws righty. I find that a little strange that the Saints would put him batting lefty, but he doesn't really get at-bats with the DH system here in the CCL. There's the first strike we see from Akanuma, 2-1 now. Parente, as has been the case all season, been very consistent at the plate. Before the game, before the All-Star game, he was on a modest 4-game hit streak. And here he might extend a line drive in the center field, but Mossberg comes racing in to make the catch, 1 gone. That was a hard line drive off the bat of Parente, with a good jump by Mossberg, and Mossberg out there, Gold Glove caliber center fielder. That's what you call a 4-star catch, everybody. Long distance to travel, not a lot of time between the ball hitting wood and reaching the ground. And that's why Mossberg's out there in center. Let's take a look at the rest of the Saints defense. From left to right, it's Burton, Mossberg, and McGee. Over the hot corner is Shearer. On the other side, Durna, he'll be at first. 2 middle infielders are Chavez and Briggs. Behind the plate is Mitch Kerner. He'll be in the squad, putting down the signs, and Akanuma's on the mound. The Riptide lineup includes Joey Parente, Bo Phillip, and Dominic Fletcher. That's been the 1-2-3 for the past couple of games. And David Miranda, who got the last league game off, he returns. He'll be playing left field, followed by the DH Jake Polshin, Logan Polson, Cooper Ewell, Paul Gomez will be at the hot corner, and Jackson Williams. And Williams was the one on the 10th, back on Monday, who really carried the Riptide to a victory over the San Luis Obispo Blues. 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, an RBI and a run scored. The 1-1 delivery to Phillip, grounded to the second baseman Chavez, a gopher killer that he gets and tosses on over to Derna at first. 2 away. Now the 3 spot, Dominic Fletcher, the lefty from the University of Arkansas. Fletcher has had arguably the best season out of any Riptide player offensively. In fact, he's considered for MVP right now. Possibly toward the end of the year he might win it. First pitch, low and away, 1-0. But he was the only Riptide player to get a turn at bat in the All-Star game who didn't come away with a hit. He ended up 0 for 3. Also the only player without an RBI or a run scored for the Riptide. Here he grounds it to the first baseman, Derna, and it gets past Derna into right field, right under his glove. A little Olay action there, and I'm not talking about the shampoo. We have a runner on first, 2 gone for the cleanup man, David Miranda.
Next up, the left fielder from Florida Atlantic University, number 14, David Miranda.
And I'll tell you something, everybody. That was clearly underneath Derna's glove. But we love the Riptide here in Irvine. So, looks like our official scorekeeper is declaring that a hit. So, Fletcher, 1 for 1 on the day. And good old single. The lefty Miranda up to bat now. Top 3 on the team in RBIs. Top 10 in the league in RBIs. Took the first pitch, a 2-seam fastball that broke to the outside corner. 0-1. Akanuma out of the stretch. Fletcher takes off, a swing and a miss. Kerner tosses on down to second. The throw is not in time, and it gets into center field. Fletcher thought about trying for third, but instead stays back. His 5th stolen base on the year, now sitting at 5 for 7 on the season in terms of stolen bases. So with that, that puts a runner in scoring position for Miranda, who has been an RBI machine like I like to talk about. Miranda drove in 2 runs in the All-Star game via a 2-run homer he had very early on in the game. One of 2 home runs in the game. I'll talk about the other one later when the other man comes up again. Parente grounds it to the second baseman Chavez, who will get his chance at another 4-3, and he converts it for out number 3. So they get a man in scoring position after the single by Fletcher, but it stays a 0-0 ball game as we head to the second inning on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. We're in the top of the second here at the University of Concordia Irvine, a 0-0 ball game in the Top of the second here, Riptide versus Saints. Now up to the plate, the cleanup man and arguably best goatee in the league, Spencer Mossberg. First pitch from Reynoso, a fastball that falls low just above the dirt, 1-0. Wind blowing out toward right field. That's Parente standing over there. I feel like right field is one of the hardest positions to play here at UC of Irvine. Another fastball, low and outside corner, 1-1. The count's even. But something I've always noticed is that the sun always, when the game starts, usually around 4:35, around the rest of the league, since they have lights. University of Concordia Irvine, we do not have lights. But a lot of the time, I realize that the sun is directly in the right fielder's eyes when the game starts, and it stays that way until about the 6th or 7th inning. And not only that, but the wind always seems to blow. There's like a couple hills behind me, and hills sort of surround this campus, and it sort of creates like a funnel, some sort of wind funnel, and it always blows out to right field. There's a fastball way inside, almost hit Mossberg, counts even at 2. But it blows out toward right field, and it makes it a lot more difficult for a right fielder to judge a ball's depth off the bat. And it just goes to show how good Parente is at right field, and how valuable he is, because he's been able to keep up and track him down with the best of them, playing spectacular defense despite all this happening to him. Doesn't even wear sunglasses. Actually, well, he has sunglasses, but he puts them on top of his cap when he's out in the field. His girlfriend doesn't know why he does that. Two and 2 the count. After 2 balls got fouled off by Mossberg. And the delivery. There's a breaking ball grounded softly to the third baseman. Charging is Gomez. Barehanded play, not in time. Spectacular defensive play. Looked like it was going to be pretty hard and difficult off the bat. Gomez hesitated a little bit and then had to charge. A nice barehanded effort, but the speed of Mossberg is just too much, and he is on base with an infield single. First hit of the game for the Saints. Now the designated hitter, Corey Harrell, up to the plate. Mossberg has great speed. Doesn't usually get the best jumps, though. First pitch. 2-seam fastball falls low in the dirt. Nice block by Ewell to keep that runner at first. 1-0. Reynoso has seemingly fallen behind on a lot of hitters thus far. He's faced 5 and has fallen behind on 3. The only 2 he didn't fall behind on, he struck out. So it seems like that first pitch is very important to him. If he can get it over the plate, tends to bode well for the rest of the at-bat. It's 1-0 now to the righty Harrell. The lefty Reynoso delivers a fastball high and away, 2-0. So I'm getting word that Parente actually had 2 RBIs in the All-Star game because of a walk, but online it actually does not give him that RBI. But according to if you scrummage through the rule book every now and again, you will see that if it's a bases-loaded walk, player does usually get the RBI. So actually he tied Miranda for the team lead in RBIs, but Miranda got on the 2-run home run. Let's go through the defense for the Riptide. From left to right, we have the trinity of all-stars, Miranda, Fletcher, and Parente. On the hot corner is Paul Gomez. The middle infielders, Phillip at short and Williams at second. And then Logan Poulsen will be the man at first. He's the one holding on Mossberg right now. The 3-0 pitch was a fastball at the knees, seemingly 2-seamer. 3-1 to Harrell. Still in the hitter's count. Behind the plate will be Ewell. He'll be in the squat, putting down the signs to Ricky Reynoso, who's been on the mound. He's been dealing, despite that infield single he's given up. And it was an infield single, so he has given up a hit, but it was weak contact. So Reynoso still dealing, still feeling himself perhaps. The 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed in the dirt. Mossberg's going to take off. The arm by Ewell. The throw, not in time, gets into center field. Phillip tried to pick that off the ground. Ewell had to move and had to get rid of it as fast as he could. He knew that Mossberg was fast at first. But unfortunately, just bounced about 3-4 feet in front of Phillip at second. And got away from him. So that takes away the double play, but brings the count to full. Now with first base open, you might think that they might try to pitch around the 5 spot. Corey Harrell to get to Tyler Durna, but Durna hasn't been a pushover either. He was an all-star as well. But here's a ground ball to the shortstop, Phillip. They're going to try at third. They will not. Phillip thought about it and went through a whole arm motion. That's good forearm strength to be able to hold on to that ball. And instead, he fired on over to first. Now the first run of the game is only 90 feet away in Spencer Mossberg. With only 1 gone, this is going to be a time when Reynoso really needs to get that strikeout going. This all started with an infield single to Paul Gomez. Paul Gomez fielded it very nicely and cleanly. And Mossberg was just too fast. That's what you call a swinging bunt, everybody. And if a player could do that automatically, just do it on their own, not accidentally, and make a lot of money. It's one of the highest success type of hits in baseball. So the runner on third and 1 gone. Reynoso deals a slider. Swung on and missed by Durna, 0-1. Another thing you might think about is after Durna comes Alex Briggs, and Briggs hasn't had the best season at the plate, so they might try to pitch around Durna, put him on first, and open up that double play possibility. However, if you do put him on first, that opens up 31 tomfoolery perhaps. 1-1 the count. Reynoso dealing against the lefty Tyler Durna. He kicks and fires. Breaking ball falls low and away. Nice stop by Ewell. 2-1. This is what I thought, seemingly pitching away from Durna. Every pitch has been away, trying to keep out of his sweet spot, which is middle in. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and drilled into center field. Fletcher has a good arm. It is shallow. We'll see if he tests the arm. And he will not. Mossberg thought about it, took a couple steps off the bag, and then saw how accurate it was. Ewell did have to come up a couple steps to get it on the fly. But it doesn't matter. Seemingly, Ewell would have been able to get back in time. Mossberg's fast, but he's not that fast. There's going to be 2 gone. The runner stays at third. So Reynoso, not a strikeout, but he did what he needed to do. Good defense behind him. Keeps that runner at third. Alex Briggs up to the plate now. Briggs, the righty, looking for the first run. It will require a base hit. First pitch to Briggs is outside with the fastball, 1-0. Reynoso, one of the best pitchers on the Riptide staff in terms of getting the ball across the plate and doing so at a 73% clip. The 1-0. Swung on and fouled off to the right side, out of play. He's also very good at getting ground balls. Loves to live low in the zone. We've only seen really 2 pitches thus far. He's thrown 19, and only 2 have been up above the letters, or even up in the zone. The 1-1. Fastball just outside at the knees as well. 2-1. 1 hit for each team, both of them singles, both of them sort of infield singles. Dominic Fletcher got on after Tyler Durna misplayed the ball at first. Mossberg, the man on third, got on after an infield single to the left side. That's how we started off this inning, 0-0 still. The 2-1, low and inside, a 2-seam fastball, maybe a changeup, 3-1. It had movement going back toward the outside of the plate, which is what you expect to see from a lefty dealing a 2-seam fastball. It actually broke down as well. I'm pretty sure Reynoso hasn't told me about his sinker, so I don't think it was that. There's a fastball up high for ball 4. That's the first walk we see in this ball game, the 5-pitch walk. That's going to bring up to the plate the 8 spot, Joshua McGee. We'll see if any 31 shenanigans go on with 2 outs. Now would arguably not be the best time, as if he were to get thrown out at second. Briggs doesn't have the greatest speed, but he has good speed. Ewell has a great arm behind the plate, and I'm sure he's dying for a challenge. Reynoso is a lefty, so a short lead for Briggs. First pitch swung on and missed, a fastball at the letters, 0-1. McGee in the 8 spot. His job is to get on base for the ninth hitter, Mitch Kerner. The 0-1, fastball below the knees, 1-1. These two teams boast two of the best outfields in the CCL. 5 All-Stars of the 6 in the outfield for today's game. The 2-1, fastball up high, 3-1. So 2-1. I apologize for saying 3-1. Reynoso looking into Yule. Stares at first and then fires. The runner from first goes. They are going to throw down to second, and it is way in time. Nice job by Yule and Williams to get the runner Briggs trying to take second. So that will end the top of the second as we head to the bottom half of this inning. The Riptide will get a chance to take the lead in this game. They strand a runner at third. The Saints do. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael O'Fling. Stay tuned. Coming up for the Riptide is going to be the 5 spot, the DH, Jake Polshin from Houston Baptist University. Polshin hitting just above 300, 310. First pitch he sees from Akanuma, delivering out of the windup is a breaking ball. The big hammer falls in there on the inside corner, 0-1. After today's game, the Riptide will stay here actually for tomorrow against the SoCal Catch for a 3-game set. One here, one in Biola, and then one here again on Sunday. Another breaking ball that falls into the plate once again. 1-1 the count. I apologize once again. I thought the first pitch was a strike. It looked like Heath Jones behind the plate and made the call. The 1-1 delivery, another breaking ball. They're going to say that was low and outside corner as well. Looked to me like the catcher Kerner picked it off of the ground. But it's not what I say, it's what the umpire says. 1-2. Polshin finds himself behind. Akanuma really working that breaking ball. The 1-2. There's a fastball, low and inside, 2-2. This will be the last time these two teams face. And the Riptide get the Catch, the Barons, the Foresters, the Legends, and the Halos to round things out. They have a 3-game set with the Catch and the Legends. Here's a fly ball to right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Polshin is going to take a big turn around first and then head on back. A nice defensive play by the right fielder McGee to cut that one off before it got to the wall. And that's going to be the second hit of the ball game for the Riptide and put a man on first with no one out. So now Polshin will be on base for Polson. Took me a while to figure that one out too. Polson, the man from the University of Hawaii, the lefty. I talk a lot about this lineup for the Riptide, how they balance very nicely between lefties and righties. First pitch, grounded to the first baseman, Derna, but just foul. 0-1. Really attacked that first pitch he saw, Polson did. Defense lined up for Polson to pull. The shortstop, Briggs, lined up only a couple feet away from second base. To the left of it still, but the center fielder, Mossberg, lined up pretty much playing Polson to pull. Big hole between the shortstop and third baseman. Even still with the third baseman playing off the line. There's a swing and a foul ball straight back into the chain link fence. 0-2 to Polson. Waiting on deck, Cooper Ewell, the catcher. You have all the Oles, one right after the other. 5, 6, 7 are Polson, and Ewell. Akanuma looking to get the strikeout. Polson swings and fouls it straight back and out of play. Right over my head. 20 feet over my head, albeit. 0-2 the count remains. Small lead for Polson. Only about 2 steps. The 0-2. Breaking ball grounded into the hole. That is going to be a nice play by Chavez, who ended up past the foul line at first base. But he threw across his body and made the play. But that did move Polson up to second. He wasn't able to spin around and make the throw to the shortstop, Briggs, at second. So it'll be a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Cooper Ewell. And this is how the Saints got off to the beginning of their half of the second. Runner at third, 1 out. Runner in scoring position, 1 out. And weren't able to come across. We'll see if the Riptide can change the fortune. Akanuma out of the stretch. Delivers. Ewell takes a fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Seemingly a big zone from Heath Jones today. It seems like a lot of pitches are falling outside of the zone and just above the letters. He loves that outside corner, it seems. 0-1 to Ewell. Should be a pitcher's duel if that keeps up. The 0-1. Breaking ball. This one falls too far outside the zone. 1-1. So I've talked about Jones behind the plate. Over at second right now is Biscombe. And at third is Gimbry. They'll be officiating this game. The 1-1. Breaking ball, inside corner, 1-2. Ewell ended the top half of the second after he caught Alex Briggs trying to take second, while Mossberg was at third. Wasn't exactly the smartest time to steal, because now it's going to be 8-9-1 to lead off the third. But if it did work, then you look like a genius. And there's another breaking ball. Got him with a hammer inside corner. Ewell goes down looking. That's not something you see from Ewell very often. Ewell very good at making contact, and he does not like to strike out, meaning he'll swing at anything that's close in the 2-strike count. But there, the big hammer caught him off guard. Akanuma does love that breaking ball. He threw it 4 times in the at-bat to Polson, a 5-pitch at-bat. We didn't see it against Polson, and there we saw 3 more in a 4-pitch at-bat. Now it's going to be Paul Gomez. First pitch from Akanuma. Fastball, outside corner, just off the edge of the plate, 1-0. Zero ball game, 2 hits for the Riptide. Single by Fletcher in the first and a single by Polson here in the second. That led off the inning. 2 gone here. A base hit would likely score Polson, who has better speed than what you would expect from a guy his size. Gomez, 256 average on the year. Here he lines it down the left field line, just foul, about 3 feet off the third base line. It's going to be 1-2. Head coach Tiger Peterson asking for a 2-out RBI. We'll see if Gomez delivers. He's got 5 doubles on the year. Almost had his 6th one there. Those 5 doubles among the team leaders. It's tied for 5th among Riptide players. There's a fastball, runs inside. Gomez turns his back, almost hit him. 2-1. The only players ahead of Gomez are Proctor, Phillip, Miranda, and Polshin. Polshin has had very good gap power all year. He's got 8. He leads the team. There's a fastball. Gomez thought about it and then thought it was inside, decided to hold back. But the deuces are wild. After that pitch was a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the man on second. And Gomez looking to deliver the 2-out RBI and put the Riptide up top. These two teams have been very evenly matched all year. Despite a 13-2 win for the Riptide, these two teams are tied 2-2 in the season series thus far. This is sort of the rubber match. There's a line drive straight to the third baseman, a soft line drive. And the third baseman, Shearer, made a couple steps over to his left to make the play. So they strand Polshin at second, but get their second hit of the ball game. We'll head to the top of the third. Still a 0-0 ball game on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Reynoso coming into today with a 3 ERA, now with a sub-3. He's gone through 2 shutout innings here at the University of Concordia Irvine. Limited the Saints to only 2 base runners, both of them coming in the second. A single by Spencer Mossberg and a walk to Briggs. First pitch to McGee, the 8 spot, is fouled off to the right side and out of play. So the one bright spot about the steal by Briggs that ended up getting caught, they caught him stealing. Cooper Ewell and Bo Phillip, the 2 of them together did. One bright spot is that McGee, who was down in the count 1-2, probably went to Briggs and said, "Hey man, you didn't give me a chance to drive in that run, but at least I got a fresh count now." The 0-1 delivery from Reynoso. Slider backdoored him there, started outside, fell in. 0-2. And the 0-2 is grounded softly foul right in front of the OC Riptide dugout. Count remains 0-2. I talked a little bit about sunglasses, or wearing sunglasses out in the field earlier in the game. And actually, if you take a look at the Riptide defense, everybody on the left side of the field isn't wearing sunglasses. Meanwhile, Parente, Polson, and Williams are the only 3 who are wearing sunglasses for the Riptide. There, Reynoso got him. Nice throw by Ewell, gets him on the drop third strike. Doesn't allow a runner to get to first. Third strikeout of the game for Reynoso in 2 1/3 innings. It's all about that first pitch, it seems, for him. It's been the case all game through the 8 hitters he's seen. Now comes the 9 spot, Mitch Kerner. The delivery is a fastball up high, 1-0. Kerner came into today pretty much the everyday catcher for the Saints. They do have 3 catchers listed: Scotty Graham, Brendan Krobb, and Mitch Kerner. Mitch Kerner has played in the most games out of the 3 of them, so he has been the guy they seemingly go to, or at least Anthony Chevrier goes to. Chevrier, of course, the head coach for the Saints. 1-1 the count. Here's another foul ball off to the right side, just above the Saints bullpen. 1-2. We're in the pitcher's advantage, excuse me. That's exactly where you want to be. Reynoso looking for his 4th strikeout. The delivery. Fastball runs in and hits Kerner on the elbow. That's what you wear the elbow guard for. You can see that little yellow Evo shield sticking out a little bit. And if that didn't hit his elbow guard, I don't know what that was. That might have been bone then. That's what it sounded like. Something solid. That's going to bring up the leadoff man, Gabe Chavez. That's not what you want to see if you're Tiger Peterson in the dugout right now. Your pitcher, Reynoso, is ahead in the count 1-2. He runs inside and hits the 9 spot. Put somebody on base with only 1 gone for the top of the lineup. Chavez 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch. Grounded to the shortstop, Phillip, who has it on 2 hops. Underhand and to first. Not in time. Well, it might have been in time, but Polson got pulled off the bag, so they get the lead runner, but leave Chavez on first. 2 away now. So now Brandon Shearer, the third baseman, grounded out a soft little dribbler to the first baseman, Polson, back in the first. Now he has a man on first in Gabriel Chavez. Chavez takes off on the first pitch, a big windup from Reynoso, and they almost didn't have a chance. Reynoso took a long time delivering that one. And that was just very risky from Chavez. Reynoso has been known to take a long time in his windup to throw when the runner is on first, so that he can throw back to first if he's decided to pick off. Trying to throw off the runner's timing. Chavez, not worried about, just decided to take off as soon as he saw him. Second pitch is a fastball that falls low once again, 2-0. And you don't want to put 2 on for the man on base, Blake Burton. Shearer leading the team in batting average, albeit just 3 games played for Shearer. The 2-0 is fouled straight back. 2-1. A .400 average. Four hits in his 10 at-bats, all of them singles, also has an RBI. 2 stolen bases as well, so he has good speed from the left-handed spot. And you can tell it with his swing. He sort of starts to move to first in every swing. Not as much as like Ichiro. Here comes Chavez trying to go down to third. The throw will get past Gomez, and Chavez will score. So 2 stolen bases, and there you see base running coming to play as the first run comes across. 1-0 Saints here in the top of the third. Still 2 gone, but now nobody on. 3-1 pitch is a fastball, low and outside corner. Count runs full. Riptide find themselves down for the first time in 3 games. They have not trailed at any part of any game in 3 contests. The payoff pitch. 2-seam fastball popped up on the left side. Gomez underneath in foul territory, and he'll make the catch to retire the side, but not before the first run of the game comes across. 2 stolen bases from Chavez, the leadoff man. And that's where you see speed kills. That's where the saying comes from. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. A 1-0 deficit they face in the bottom of the third. We'll be right back. It's now the 9 spot to lead things off, but Williams, not necessarily your typical 9-spot hitter. Williams has done well in this short amount of time with the Riptide. He's become the everyday second baseman. First pitch from Akanuma. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Williams was actually our player of the game in their victory over the Blues on Monday. And I got to talk to him a little bit after the game. He and Fletcher are teammates at the University of Arkansas. And now they are living with one another with host families. And Williams had such a good game that while I was interviewing him, Fletcher could not stop throwing stuff at him, just anything he could find in the dugout. Baseballs, little foam rollers. Those feel amazing, by the way. Baseball gloves. And at one point he tried to dump some ice, their water container, or water cooler. He fouls one off to the right side out of play 1 and 2. The two of them are very good friends the whole time. Both of them were laughing. And Williams had to duck out in the middle of our interview because he saw Fletcher was coming with the water cooler. And meanwhile, me and Will Tomlinson were standing there because I was also talking to Will. And we just didn't know what to do at that moment. The 1-2, Williams thought about a fastball just inside, but he does hold up on the check swing. They sent it down to Buscambe at first. 2-2, the count's even. It's been sort of a theme with the Riptide. The entire lineup hasn't been hot at the same time at any moment. But they've had almost 2/3 of it hot at any moment. And when somebody gets cold, somebody else picks them up. In the game on Monday, Mitch Andrews was in the game, and his hit streak ended unfortunately. And Williams, who hadn't had a hit in either of the previous 2 contests, comes through and goes 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. The payoff pitch swung on and grounded into the 56 hole. The diving third baseman can't get it. The shortstop on the backhand, not in time. Williams beat it by a step. And that was a fantastic play by Briggs at short. On the backhand, Derek Jeter-like on the run and in the air trying to get it, but Williams just a little bit too fast, and he's going to be on to lead off the inning for Joey Parente. Second infield single we've seen in this contest. One from Spencer Mossberg for the Saints, and now this one for Williams. Third baseman, Shearer, in. Ground ball to the shortstop, Briggs. Lead runner Williams will get to second on the steal, but Parente will get thrown out at first, so the hit and run works and avoids the double play. There's going to be one gone and a man in scoring position for Bo Phillip. Phillip 0 for 1. Grounded to the second baseman Chavez his first time up in the first. Phillip had an RBI triple in the All-Star game, only triple of the contest. There was only 1 triple and 2 home runs. All of them came from Riptide players. And it might be July, but there were fireworks off the Riptide bats. They caught everybody in the current. They caught the entire Northern Division in the current. 0-1 the count. Phillip, San Joaquin Delta Junior College, looking for a Division I offer. He might get it. He has been absolutely phenomenal on both sides of the ball for the Riptide. That's why he's arguably the infield captain in that shortstop spot. Williams takes off for third and gets a huge jump. The throw is high, but a nice job by Shearer. That was a vertical of about 24 inches, getting off the ground to make the catch and keep Williams from scoring exactly the same way that Chavez scored for the Saints. Count goes to 0-2 after that fastball hit the outside corner. Phillip. Not usually one you see striking out. He looks to make contact here as anything is likely to score Williams from third now. It's not a strikeout or a pop-up. The 0-2 delivery from Akanuma. Here's a ground ball to the second baseman, Chavez. Chavez thought about going home, but Williams will cross, and he'll toss on over to first to retire the second man of the inning. But Williams comes across to tie up the game at 1.
Up to bat, the center fielder from the University of Arkansas, number 24, Dominic Fletcher.
That just goes to show that's what you call run manufacturing, everybody. Only 1 hit was needed, and that's all it took. Just hit and run, stolen bases, and Good timing at the plate allowed Williams to come across. We have ourselves a tie ball game, 1-1. Akanuma out of the stretch as he does, no matter who's on. Ground ball by Fletcher to the second baseman Chavez, who gets it on a hop, skip, and a jump to first for out number 3. So the Riptide tie it up. It's now a 1-1 ball game as we head to the top of the 4th at the University of Concordia Irvine. First-seeded Riptide looking to take their 6th game in a row when we come back on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Oefling. Stay tuned. Leading off the inning for the Arroyo Seco Saints is going to be the 3-spot Blake Burton. Burton struck out his last time against Reynoso. Reynoso will look to do the same thing here if they do say history repeats itself. Reynoso has dominated Burton the 3 times they've faced each other this year coming into today. Burton is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Now he's 0 for 4 with 2. First pitch was a fastball, low and outside corner, 0-1. Reynoso has started every game he's played for the Riptide. And he's pitched in 5, make it 6 coming into today. Here's a hard line drive into left field. That was extremely good contact. Sounded like a cannon coming off of his bat. They're going to try to backdoor him there. Phillip tried to get him at first as he rounded. It was just too late. And the leadoff man will be on for the cleanup man, Spencer Mossberg. Reynoso's last appearance came on July 8th when he started against the Academy Barons. And in that game, he went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits and no walks. And of course, no runs. A very good outing. That eventually led the Riptide to the win. He'll look to do the same thing here. Already 1 run across, but it was unearned. Man at first steals, and he'll get in there without a throw from Ewell. Reynoso does take a long time, as I like to mention. But it seems like the Saints might be getting an understanding of his timing. It's 1-1 to the 4th spot, Spencer Mossberg. Mossberg had a hit back in the 2nd. It was the first hit of the game for the Saints. One of those right now would likely score. Derna. Here he grounds it to the shortstop, Phillip. They're going to try to get him at third. The tag is applied, and he is out at third. A nice backhanded throw by Phillip, and good awareness by Gomez to be on the bag by the time it got to the shortstop. Good speed from Burton to try to get to third. He took off as soon as the bat made contact, but just a better play, I should say, by Phillip. And Gomez gets the lead runner, and there's going to be 1 gone and a man on first. And that also puts a double play in order. So keep that in mind, a very spectacular play between the left side of the infield. Mossberg does have good speed and actually already has a stolen base on the wild pitch. Here he's going to take off. They're going to pick him off, and the throw's going to be there in time. A nice job by Reynoso. That time Mossberg was not having any of it, or Reynoso wasn't having any of it, I should say. Knew that Mossberg was going to take off and just threw on back to Polson, who was covering first, who tossed to Phillip and applied the tag. 2 gone and no one on here for Corey Harrell, the DH, who grounded out to the shortstop last time up. First pitch is in there, 0-1. Reynoso looking to get through his 4th inning. It would be a season high in terms of innings pitched. It's already a season high. He's only gotten through 3 in all of his other appearances. Against the Legends, he only went 1. And I made a comment earlier that he started every game he's appeared in. Actually, no. Against the Oaks and the Legends, early on in the season, he came in as the 4th and 5th pitchers out of the bullpen. 2-1 the count to Harrell. Bullpen is going for the Riptide. We'll let you know who that is as soon as we get word. Bullpen's also going for the Saints. Over there for the Saints warming up is Tim Turner, the righty from George Mason. Reynoso deals a big fastball that blew right by Harrell. He was about a couple seconds late on that one. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1 run on 2 hits for the Saints. 1 run on 3 hits for the Riptide. Here he fouls it straight back into the chain link fence to stay alive. Count remains 2-2. Reynoso out of the stretch, as a lot of pitchers like to do. It's a changeup, falls low below the zone. Count runs full. There are a lot of pitchers on the Riptide staff, and a lot of pitchers on most staffs we see, or even if there's nobody on base, they go straight out of the stretch. No need for the windup. It seems to be becoming a thing, like sort of in the equivalent I could think of in sports is a lot of college football players aren't really taking anything under center anymore. They're just going straight out of shotgun as Harrell fouls this one off to the right side and out of play. Count remains full. But I was talking with a trainer, a NFL team trainer. I'm not going to say which team. But he was saying that a lot of quarterbacks don't even know how to take a ball underneath center at this point. And it seems like a lot of pitchers don't want to go out of the windup anymore and just are going straight from the stretch. And it might be a comfort thing as opposed to the NFL where it seems to be a technique thing where they don't get practice doing it and they don't know how to do it when they get to the higher levels. But you got to do what works for you here. And Reynoso seems to love to pitch out of the stretch. Still towing that left side of the rubber. I guess it would be right side to him. Left side to us. Here's a little dribbler back to Reynoso, who's going to underhand it softly to Polson and will retire the side. So very nice effort there and very nice defense across the entire board for the Riptide to pick off, and a nice play by Phillip at short between Phillip and Gomez. 2 men get on, but nobody is left on base as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Still a 1-1 ball game at the University of Concordia Irvine on the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll be right back. So David Miranda, the All-Star Game MVP, coming up to the plate. He and Joey Parente, the only 2 to hit home runs in that game. Miranda came away with the MVP, but the two of them were debating on who was going to get it. First pitch is swung on and missed. A big cut. Miranda almost went to a knee on that one, 0-1. But the two of them were talking about, they were wondering who was going to get the MVP. Parente hit a home run that was vital because the game was tied at 4. And they made the game 5-4, so they said that they were talking about in the dugout. And they said if the game stayed 5-4, it's very likely Parente would have gotten the award. But the very next inning, the South went on to score 3 runs and to double up the North and would come away with a win 8-4. And since Miranda's hit was a 2-run shot, they gave it to Miranda. But Miranda, being the nice guy he is, and Parente and him getting along very well, two of them are actually going to declare it a co-MVP. And Miranda's going to post a picture of the two of them holding the trophy together later tonight. Here's a ground ball to the second baseman Chavez, who's had a lot of work tonight, and he gets Miranda by a step and a half for out number 1.
Next up, the designated hitter from Kansas Baptist University, number 8, Jake Wilson.
In fact, Chavez has had so much work at second. That's the 3rd straight out that's been recorded via Chavez. And he's had at least 1 in every inning, and at least two in the 1st and 3rd. And already 1 here in the 4th. First pitch is a fastball just below the knees, 1-0. Polshin, 0 for 1 on the day. 1 for 1 on the day, Single back in the 2nd. Would end up getting in scoring position but wouldn't come across. Only run was via Jackson Williams, who stole 3rd base after a hit and run between him and Joey Parente, and would come around to score on the ground out by Phillip. 2-0 the count to Polshin. Polshin facing Akanuma. Akanuma toes and fires. A 2-seam fastball that runs inside. 3-0. Polshin, not a very aggressive hitter, doesn't have a tendency to swing a lot. Likes to wait for his pitch, and then he doesn't expect to see anything better. And if it's his pitch, he'll take a hack. The 3-0. 2-seam fastball at the knees. 3-1. We're still in the hitter's count. And now we might see Polshin take a hack at something if he likes it. Akanuma, 5.57 ERA coming into the day, fires a fastball low and outside. Polshin knew it right away, started taking off his shin guard. And he'll be on first for the 2nd time today. A 1-out walk that's going to bring up Logan Polshin.
17, Logan Polshin.
Polshin 0 for 1, a ground out to the second baseman Chavez. You're going to hear that a lot. That came back in the 2nd. Once again, the defense, as they did in the 2nd, playing Polshin to pull. Polshin, no stolen bases on the year, but he does have decent speed. Akanuma looks at first and fires. Polshin drives it down the right field line, fair. This one's going to reach the wall. Polshin is heading around 2nd. It kicks away from the right fielder, McGee. Polshin is going to head around 3rd. He will score. Polshin trying for 3rd. He is gunned out at 3rd, and you can hear the Riptide going for it. Polshin, not the fastest person on the Riptide team. They desperately wanted Polshin to get into 3rd with that triple. That would have been something. He had the chance after the ball squirted away from McGee in the corner, but just not in time. The run does come across, and the Riptide take the lead after the double. But they wanted that triple. And Polshin gets back to the dugout, says he was trying to lift it, actually, and instead came away with a line drive. A very hard hit ball. Hardest hit ball we've seen all day today. It's going to bring up Cooper Yule with 2 away and nobody on. Riptide lead 2-1. Runs in back-to-back innings. First pitch, low and away, 1-0. Akanuma delivers, and Yule slaps it the other way into right field for a base hit. His first base hit of the game. Struck out looking his last time up, but this time gets a little bit of revenge. That's 3 consecutive men getting on base for the Riptide. Paul Gomez will look to extend that streak Still 2 gone, and he's going to have to extend that streak if he wants this inning to keep going. Gomez, the newest member of the University of Missouri. He'll join the SEC with Jackson Williams and Dominic Fletcher. Pickoff attempt to get Ewell. And they're going to say they got him. They're going to say they picked him off. Ewell does not like the call, gives a little smile, and he'll head back to the dugout. Riptide take the lead on the RBI double from Poulsen. They have 5 hits in the contest and 2 runs. They lead this one 2-1. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. It's going to be 6-7-8 up against Reynoso, who's heading out for his 5th inning of work. The Riptide lead 2-1 after a nice line drive double by Logan Poulsen. Poulsen got gunned out at 3rd. First pitch to Derna from Reynoso, a slider that breaks into the zone, 0-1. Derna flew out to Dominic Fletcher his last time up. Had a chance to drive in Mossberg with only 1 away in the 2nd. There was a shallow fly ball and a good arm from Fletcher. Here he flies it shallow to right field. Parente cannot get there in time. That one's going to fall for a base hit. I talk about that wind makes it a lot more difficult to judge fly balls. Parente took a couple steps back to lead to start as soon as it left the bat and couldn't run in time. And that's what it does. That's what this wind does. Makes you think it's going to be a lot deeper than it ends up being. And there are times when you think it's going to be shallower and the wind carries it a little bit more than usual. So I'm just right field, difficult position to play here at the University of Concordia Irvine. So there's a 1 on, no one gone. Reynoso delivers a fastball at the knees, 0-1. So Briggs finds himself down in the count. Reynoso, still a relatively low pitch count, struggled through the 2nd inning. Has found his rhythm since then. The 0-1. Fastball fouled straight back into the chain link fence, 0-2. Now he's exactly where he wants. Derna, not the greatest speed, but can swipe a bag. No stolen bases on the year. He has shown off good range at first, and a lot of that has to do with anticipation, knowing where the ball is going to be before it gets to your position. But some of that has to do with speed. The 0-2 delivery. Reynoso fires a fastball just below the knees, 1-2. Still at the pitcher's advantage. Defense lined up, expecting Briggs to pull. from the right side. Third baseman Gomez, about 5 feet off the line. Here he takes a two-seam fastball that runs outside the zone, 2-2. Jones, the home plate umpire, has loved outside to right-handed hitters this game. That one just a little bit too far off the plate. We're even at 2. 2-1 ball game. The Riptide lead, 2 runs on 5 hits. Saints have 1 run on 3 hits, and it was an unearned run. Pickoff attempt there. Derna gets back with 2 very slow steps. Not a big lead off at first. Not even a small lead. Just making sure. The 2-2. Swung on and missed by Briggs. He got him swinging. That's the first strikeout in 2 innings for Reynoso, his 4th on the day. After the first when he got 2, and then to lead off the 3rd, he got 1 as well. It looked like he was in for a big day strikeout-wise. That's only his 4th in 4 1/3 now. Riptide pitching staff, top half of the league in terms of strikeouts. Among closers, Will Tomlinson actually leads the department in the CCL in terms of strikeouts. First pitch to the 8 spot, Joshua McGee, a fastball that gets in there across the plate, 0-1. McGee made a nice throw in the bottom of the 4th to the second baseman Chavez, who was able to relay it to 3rd to get Polson. He had a little bit of trouble playing it off the wall. Another thing about right field, and you saw it, well, if you were able to see it on the stream, you could see it, was McGee was playing it to bounce off softly off the chain link fence. But actually that chain link fence is a little bit more bounce than you would expect. And it got a couple feet away from McGee. Just being able to play the bounces off the wall and off the fence makes you a much better right fielder. Parente, this being his home field, he gets to knows it a little bit better perhaps. There he gets McGee swinging and missing again for his 2nd strikeout in as many batters. So that leadoff single not really looking like it's going to do much harm to the Riptide. 2 straight strikeouts to Briggs and McGee brings up the 9th spot Mitch Kerner. Last time Kerner came in, Reynoso had him in a 1-2 count and then hit him on the elbow. So look to avoid that here. First pitch, a fastball that drops low. The runner at first thought about it. Derna took about 4 steps off of first after his lead and then headed back after Yule got out of the squat very quickly and was ready to fire. Yule, arguably the strongest arm behind the plate for the Riptide. He's already gunned out 2 in this game. He's also committed that 1 error that allowed Chavez to score. That was back in the top of the 3rd. Pickoff attempt. Once again, Derna not too far off of first. He'll get back in there without having to slide. The man in the bullpen for the Riptide is Parker Joe Robinson, another All-Star. Didn't get a pitch in the All-Star game, so he's looking for some action. Joe Robinson, one of the few Riptide pitchers to still have a 0 ERA. In fact, he's the only pitcher to still have a 0 ERA. So the 1-0 pitch was another fastball to drop below the knees, 2-0. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Riptide, 1 run on 3 hits for the Saints. On deck waits the top of the lineup, Gabriel Chavez. You don't want to get to him. Chavez very likely to get a base hit. He's already got one in this game. And that would likely score Derna. Tie this game up. Reynoso already in his longest outing of the year. His previous longest outing was only 3 innings. He's looking to get through his 5th today. 3-0 the count. Does not want to walk the number 9 spot. Yule sets the target inside. And it's a fastball delivered inside on the corner. 3-1. We're still in the hitter's count, though. Bullpen is empty for the Saints. Looks like Chevrier having a lot of faith in Akanuma. Akanuma has pitched very well. Almost gone toe-to-toe with Reynoso. The 3-1 pitch is low, a two-seamer that drops below the knees. It's going to be first and second, 2 outs for Chavez. Chavez got on base via a fielder's choice last time up. I said single. I looked at my scorebook. I glanced at it, saw that I drew a line to first. So I assumed single, but I was wrong again. He stole 2 bases his last time up, last time he got on base, and came in to score after Cooper Ewell threw one into left field. Would have been a nice dig by Gomez. It was a ball that bounced about 20 feet in front of him. First pitch is a fastball outside corner, 0-1. Reynoso from Chula Vista, California, going to the University of Pacific. He was immediately in the starting rotation his freshman year, and that shows just how highly he's thought of for that squad. Pickoff attempt to second. Nice dig by Phillip. Stops it from getting into center field. That's just something you see from Phillip every day. You know, I would have been a little bit more excited about that, but I'm so used to it now. Seems like every game, Phillip makes a phenomenal play, at least one. He's already done it in this game with a backhanded flip to Gomez at third to get a lead runner. He's made already 3 nice picks in this game. It's just short hops he's been able to get. Here's a line drive into the right field, just out of the reach of Williams. Derna is heading around third. The throw is going to be up line. They're going to head it to third, and they will get the runner, Kerner, who tried to take third. Derna comes around to score, but they do get the runner. They do get the runner at third. The ball game is tied, but we head to the bottom of the 5th. Riptide have the advantage to take the lead. A 2-2 ball game at the University of Concordia Irvine on the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll be right back. So Gomez will lead things off after Cooper Ewell got picked off to end the bottom of the 4th. We're in the bottom of the 5th, a 2-2 ball game. First pitch to Gomez. Down low with the fastball, 1-0. So the bullpen was going a couple innings ago for the Saints, and it stopped for a little bit, and now it looks like it's going once again. Somebody's playing catch. It looks like it's Tim Turner once again. Here's a ground ball to the third baseman. Nice play by Shearer. Has it on the forehand. Takes his time and makes a nice steady throw on over the first to retire Gomez. That was a hard ground ball. Took about 3 hops before getting to the dirt. And Shearer just stuck his glove out and it popped right in. Nice play. He's been a valuable asset for the Saints since coming on a couple games ago. Not too much to go on, though. Only 4 games. This is only his 4th game. Williams is up to the plate now. Williams came across the score back in the 3rd after he singled to lead off the bottom half of that inning. Here he fouled this one off to the right side. Now to play. 0-1. The 0-1 is fouled off almost to the exact same spot. 0-2. Williams, a little bit like Proctor in terms of free swingingness. Loves to take hacks, but when he gets to 2 strikes, becomes very protective. There he takes a fastball up and away, 1-2. Proctor and Williams both get to a lot of 0-2 counts. And you'd think with that they strike out a lot. Proctor a little bit more than Williams in terms of ratios, but they've been very good at being patient with 2 strikes, choking up, and just sort of poking it out there. They come away with a lot of 2-strike hits. He took that one and looked like a slider that broke low. 2-2. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Riptide, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Saints. The 2-2 from Akanuma. Fastball outside corner, got Williams looking. That's only the 2nd strikeout of the contest for Akanuma, but it puts 2 gone for the top of the lineup, Joey Parente. Parente's 0 for 2. First time up, he had a hard line drive. Looked like it was going to fall, but a nice running catch by Mossberg out in center. Got his man and didn't allow the leadoff guy to get on. And his last time up, he grounded out to the shortstop, Briggs, to push Williams over to second. There he takes the big hammer. 0-1. Akanuma loves that breaking ball. Parente awaits the 0-1. It's a fastball that he lines hard down the right field line, but it hooks foul and out of play. Parente, the left-handed hitter from Lewis and Clark State. He's been the table setter all year long. In the very first game of this entire year against the same Saints team, he was number 1 in the order. Here he takes a fastball down low, 1-2. He was actually my first pregame interview. Talked to him just about a couple things, got to know him a little bit. Favorite on-the-road snack? Sour cream and onion ruffles is what he told me. Takes a breaking ball. Inside, 2-2. He also told me, I said, if you could be an animal for a day, what would you be? And just sort of a silly question. He said, a wolf. And that's not something I expected to hear, because I usually expect to hear lion, I want to be king of the jungle. Eagle, I want to soar above the skies. He said wolf, and I said, that's an odd choice. Why so? And he said, because I love the team aspect of the packs. Who wouldn't want this guy on their team? He lifts this one high and deep to right field. It's in the park, and McGee makes the catch to retire the side. Stays a 2-2 ball game. We head to the top of the 6th on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. We'll be right back. New pitcher in for the Riptide, it's Hunter Biggie, the man from Harvard University. You heard that right. We have a couple of Ivy League men on the Riptide. Will Tomlinson from Brown University, Hunter Biggie from Harvard. I'll peruse through the roster and see if there's any more. Can't think of them off the top of my head. But Hunter Biggie is going to come in and relieve Ricky Reynoso, who got through 5 very strong innings of 2-run ball, only 4 hits allowed, and one of those runs was unearned. So Hunter Biggie looking to keep that going, looking to keep the win streak alive. They've won 5, looking to get their 6th against their division rival, the Arroyo Seco Saints. These two teams, as I've mentioned, sit 1-2 in the Southern Division, and the winner heads to the playoffs. Playoffs will start July 28th and go to the 30th. Playoff picture is starting to sort of take fold. Right now, the Foresters lead the Central, the Riptide lead the South, and the North goes back and forth all the time between the Neptune Beach Pearl and the Healdsburg Prune Packers. The two of them have been swapping first place in that division all year long. Right now, the Neptune Beach Pearl hold the distinction, a half game above the Prune Packers. They're 17-6, the Prune Packers 19-7. So first man that Hunter Biggie is going to face is Brandon Shearer, the third baseman. Shearer 0 for 2. Shows bunt and pulls back and takes a ball. 1-0. Actually, in the game against the Academy Barons on the 9th, that was on Sunday, Hunter Biggie played third base for a little bit. Not usually where we see him. We usually see him on the mound. Here, Shearer grounds it to the shortstop, Phillip, who gets Shearer by less than half a step. Very bang-bang play, but Phillip knew how much time he had. Made a nice throw on over the first to retire his man. 1 gone.
Next up, the left fielder, number 9, Blake Burton.
But so Biggie played some third base, which is the first time he saw any play out in the field. He had taken some at-bats as a pinch hitter and then got replaced when the time came out in the field. And he played a good third base, made some nice plays, committed an error, but let's forget about that one. Something I did not expect to see the next day against the San Luis Obispo Blues. During batting practice, Biggie was out in the field taking ground balls with the rest of the infielders. So it makes you think if Tiger Peterson and Glenn and Marcus are thinking about possibly putting Biggie out in the field more often and giving him some more at-bats in games like the one against the Barons, where they won by such a large margin and could afford to do so. Or maybe if a couple injuries, unfortunate, but it could happen. They were trying out Biggie for a possible spot out in the field. It would take a lot of injuries, but it could happen. 2-1 the count to the 3-spot Blake Burton. Burton 1 for 2, singled back in the 4th. Actually got into scoring position with a stolen base, but would not come across. The 2-1. Fastball right down Main Street, 2-2. Another thing about Biggie, goes to Harvard. He had to save his freshman year and pitched 6 innings with 3 strikeouts against the University of Massachusetts. Those 3 strikeouts also career high, so he's been shown to have good stamina. Not coming in as a starter. In fact, he's only made 1 appearance as a starter for the Riptide this year. That was against the SoCal Catch back on the 23rd of June. The payoff pitch. Check swing. And he fouls it straight back. And not exactly what Burton was hoping for, but if he missed that, it was very likely that the first base umpire, Biscombe, was going to call him out. Seemingly went all the way through, broke the plane on that one. Count remains full. Biggie also shares something in common with me. We both swam in high school. He also played football as well, so he was a jack of all trades in terms of athleticism. A swing and a miss. He gets Burton swinging, so the second man he sees goes down swinging. There's actually only been one looking strikeout for the Riptide, and that was the very first batter, Gabriel Chavez, who took one against Ricky Reynoso. So the first strikeout for Biggie. 2 gone, no one on for the 4 spot, Spencer Mossberg. Mossberg has reached base twice. Once via a single, he got to third and wouldn't score. And once via the fielder's choice, and then he got picked off promptly. First pitch, a fastball. It's a 58-foot fastball as it bounces and gets to the backstop, and nobody's on base, and no harm, no foul. Mossberg, nice little bounce in his knees. Getting ready to move. The 1-0. Swung on and skied very high, a mile high out in the shallow center field. Fletcher seemingly has a jump and makes the catch for out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 for Biggie, who keeps the hot pitching going for the Riptide. We'll head to the bottom half of the 6th. Still a 2-2 ball game on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Loefling. We'll be right back. Two, 3, 4 coming up for the Riptide in the bottom half of the 6th against Junpei Akanuma, who returns out there. Seems like the Saints, every time they play the Riptide, their starter goes very deep and they use very few relief pitchers. The very first game of the year, a 2-0 ball game, Gunnar Friend, who ended up becoming an all-star, went 6 innings of 2-hit ball, where he struck out 8 as well. And it seems to be the case here. Albeit it's not a shutout, but still very good pitching performance from Akanuma, who delivers a breaking ball inside. Counts now even at 1. Phillip is 0 for 2, grounded out to Chavez twice, as most of the hitters in the Riptide lineup have done. Akanuma's done a good job of keeping them off balance and forcing soft ground balls. The 1-1 was a fastball just outside, 2-1. Phillip awaits the 2-1. Akanuma toes and delivers. Gets a pop-up. It's back behind home plate. Kerner giving chase. He slides and cannot make the catch. That was on the track just in front of the backstop. Would have been a difficult play running back on it and trying to catch it over his shoulder. And Phillip gets another shot. Counts now even at 2. Phillip, as I've mentioned, RBI triple in yesterday's All-Star game, also scored a run. It was a Riptide performance. They showed the league what they're made of, and and because of their dangerous lineup and drastic firepower, reminiscent of the 2015 Toronto Blue Jays, even wear the same colors. That's the reason why a lot of people think that the Riptide have a good chance of coming away with the championship this year. Only their second year in the league. The 2-2 was a breaking ball and broke in there and got Phillip looking. First strikeout for Phillip. Third strikeout for Akanuma. Phillip not happy with that one. Was expecting fastball. It got slider. Broke onto the inside part of the plate. So the first man is gone. Dominic Fletcher up to the plate. Fletcher tied for the league lead in home runs with 6. First pitch he sees is another breaking ball that drops into the zone 0-1. Akanuma delivers. The 0-1 is a fastball low and inside, 1-1. Fletcher is not the most talkative guy on the Riptide, but he has a couple very good friends on the team. And when you get going about his friends, he starts spewing like a chimney. There's a big cut. He was trying to knock that one out. He was trying to hit that couple more than a couple 100 feet. 1-2 the count now to Fletcher. But if you talk to Fletcher about Jackson Williams or Caleb Killian, he'll tell you all about him. There he swings and misses. It gets away from the catcher Kerner. Fletcher is going to be on first after the drop third strike. So we've seen about one of those every game. This time it falls in the Riptide's favor. Fletcher on first, one away for David Miranda.
Florida Atlantic University, number 14, David Miranda.
You can hear the MVP chants, the All-Star Game MVP chants coming out from the Riptide dugout. Asking for something in the gaps. Fletcher, 5 stolen bases on the year, 1 today. He's only been caught twice, so he has good speed, and something in the gaps is very likely to score him. Miranda has had himself quite the fine year. Did not get drafted. Spent a couple days away for the MLB draft, expecting to get drafted. It didn't happen. I talked to him and I said, "Are you a little bit disappointed?" He said, "Well, of course I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's just another step in my career. I'm going to come back. I'm going to improve myself, and teams are going to be mad that they passed on me." Here's a ground ball to the right side. Durna has it. He'll toss on over to the first to get the lead runner, and they'll get it. The 3-6-1, a double play to end the inning. So Fletcher gets on via the drop third strike, but Miranda negates it with the double play. We head to the top of the 7th, still a 2-2 ball game on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Oefling. We'll be right back. Hunter Biggie returns out there for his second inning of work. The righty will take on Corey Harrell, Tyler Durna, and Alex Briggs. That'll be the first 3 hitters he faces here in the top of the 7th, a 2-2 ball game. Biggie came in relief for Ricky Reynoso, who delivered 5 strong innings, his longest outing of the year. There's the hammer that drops in there on the outside corner, 0-1. Harrell, the designated hitter today. The 0-1. Slider at the knees. 0-2. Got a little tongue twisted there on 0-2. Try saying that 10 times fast. All right, yes, I know a lot of you can do that. Harrell, 220 average on the year, 2 home runs. He's got great power. This one he swings and misses, gets away from Ewell, but he will get it to first in time for the first out of the inning. So the strikeout for Biggie, his second inning in the third. It's going to bring up Tyler Durna. Durna, 1 for 2 on the day. He flew out to Fletcher in the second and singled and scored back in the fifth to tie the game up. Talked about the 2 home runs. Talked about the 2 home runs for Harrell. He hasn't played in a lot of games. He just got to the Saints lineup. It's actually second. Tied for second on the Saints team. The only person ahead is Blake Burton with 3. 0-2 the count now to Durna. He took the first pitch and fouled off the second over to the left side. Biggie looking for his second strikeout of the inning. Defense lined up expecting him to play. Williams pretty much in the 34 hole. And it gets grounded right to him. Nice defensive positioning by Williams, who will make the easy toss on over to first and retire the second man of the inning.
Next up, the shortstop, number 5, Alex Briggs.
Alex Briggs, the shortstop, up to the plate now. Briggs has made a couple nice plays defensively. At the plate, he's been less spectacular, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Got caught stealing back in the second, 1 of 2 by Cooper Ewell. He's been spectacular behind the plate. First pitch. The righty Briggs takes a fastball just inside, 1-0. Alex Briggs on the year, 207 average, only 1 extra base hit, a double. That came a couple weeks ago. The 1-0. Slider outside, 2-0. Actually, the last 4 times that the Riptide have played the Saints, Briggs has either started or come in and has only played third base. This is the first time the Riptide have seen him where he's been at short. Previously, but in previous games, it had been Derek Gabri, but Gabri not in the starting lineup today. Counts 3-0 to Briggs. And the 3-0 is inside with the 2-seam fastball. Briggs leaned away from that one. It's a 4-pitch walk, and that's going to put somebody on with 2 outs now for the 8th spot, Joshua McGee. And this is the man you want with 2 outs and a man on because McGee has struck out twice. Both of those coming against Reynoso, though. This time, the first time he's going to see Hunter Biggie. Polson holding on. Briggs. Briggs has gone once and got caught stealing. First pitch from Biggie. Fastball at the letters, 0-1. McGee, 296 average in the 17 games he's played. No home runs, but he does have a triple and 2 doubles. Pickoff attempt there. Sliding back in safely is Briggs. Briggs was off to a pretty big lead there. Almost double what we've seen from most of the players today. I haven't seen a lot of the runners at first. I haven't seen a lot of runners, period. Only 9 hits in this ballgame. We're in the top of the 7th, almost to the bottom. The 0-1 is a slider that hits the outside corner and at the knees as well, 0-2. That's one of the toughest pitches you'll ever face. Slider low and away. You expect it to be right down the middle. All of a sudden it falls to every hitter's kryptonite, low and away. Another pickoff attempt. This time Briggs gets back in without having to use another Tide Pod. 0-2 it remains. Another pickoff attempt. That time, the ball was caught by Polson pretty much in between the legs of Briggs. Briggs had 1 foot on first base and 1 foot off. They're going to say he was safe. A lot of the Riptide players thought he was out. The 0-2. Slider low and away. Nice stop by Ewell, keeping that runner at first. Good take from McGee as well. 1-2, still in the pitcher's advantage. McGee batting from the right side. He digs in. Hunter fires. Biggie delivers a fastball outside, just off the edge of the plate. It's a tough take from McGee, but it's 2-2. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And it's number 2 at the plate, Joshua McGee. McGee, also the name of a minor league player in the Padres system. Another pickoff attempt, and oh my goodness, his mom's not going to be happy about the laundry. Count still 2-2. Briggs has shown no signs of stealing. The 2-2 gets away from Ewell, though, to the backstop, and he is going to head into second anyway. So no steal needed, as the wild pitch will get a runner into scoring position, and it's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. So a full count now, second full count that Biggie has found himself in as many innings. He's going to have to make a pitch here. Waiting on deck is Mitch Kerner. Kerner has gotten on base twice. The payoff pitch swung on and fouled off to the right side. It was well hit, and for a second it looked like it might be right down the line, but it's sliced out of play. Still full. Two runs on 4 hits for the Saints, 2 runs on 5 hits for the Riptide. One of those runs on there and for the Saints. And there's a breaking ball. Tried to backdoor him, started inside, and it broke to the inside of the plate. But it was just too far inside for the umpire's liking, and it's a full count walk. And I'll put 2 on for Mitch Kerner. Kerner, 0 for 0. He's reached base twice. Once via the hit by pitch and once via the walk. He would later get when he got hit by a pitch, he got out after a fielder's choice, and then back in the 5th, a single by Gabriel Chavez scored Tyler Durna. Mitch Kerner tried to take third after the throw went home, but Ewell saw that and knew that the throw wasn't going to be in time, so just picked it up and fired on over to third and got Mitch Kerner, and then negated any further opportunities for the Saints to take the lead. The 1-0 to Kerner. Inside, they're going to try to backdoor him, but McGee gets back in safely. Nice job by Ewell, who snapped and threw on that one, and that's why I never understand why people don't believe a lefty can be behind the plate. I understand that it'd be a lot easier for runners to steal third. It'd be actually pretty easy, in fact. But it'd be a lot easier for you to backdoor people at first. And a lot of professional players wouldn't be used to it. Wouldn't be used to seeing a left-handed catcher and would expect to see a catcher pop out of the squat before they started throwing to first, which gives them a lot more reaction time and gives them a cue for when they need to head back. 3-0 the count to Kerner. That's going to cause Phillip to go out and talk to his man on the mound. Just try to calm him down and relax him and remind him that you're just playing catch. Just toss it over the plate. Still a tie ball game. We don't need you to win this one for us. We'll do that in the bottom half of this inning, the 7th inning stretch. So Biggie looking to climb his way back in this one. He's down 3-0. Pickoff attempt there. No slide by Briggs, but he's back in there a step early. So the count's still 3-0. So I believe that's what they were talking about at the mound. That pickoff play. The 3-0. Fastball outside corner, 3-1. Biggie trying to work his way back. He's still in the hitter's count, though, 3-1. Defense lined up very straight away. Dominic Fletcher, the only person offline. He's slightly to the right of second base, expecting Kerner to push if he does make contact. The 3-1. Fastball up high, ball above the letters. Oh, my goodness. Had trouble with that word. is going to load the bases for the top of the lineup, Gabriel Chavez, and Chavez is 1 for 3. Chavez is not the guy you want up there. And now, Tiger Peterson going to go out and talk to his man Biggie on the mound. Riptide in trouble of falling behind for the first time since the top of the third, and they got that one right back. But a single by Chavez would likely score more than one. McGee, the man on second, has good speed. If they get something in the gaps, Kerner, not the greatest speed, but good wheels for a catcher. He could score as well. Chavez, not the best home run potential, but has good gap power. Amazing timing to get stuff down the lines. So Peterson going to talk to Big E about their plan of attack. Everybody in the infield has gathered to talk about this one except Gomez. Gomez is standing over on third with Alex Briggs. This inning got off to a promising start. A strikeout to Harrell and a soft ground ball to Williams led off the inning, and since then it's been a walk, and a walk to load the bases. And Biggie has seemingly lost a little bit of control. Bullpen is going for the Riptide. And they're going to bring in a new pitcher. It's going to be Will Tomlinson, the shutdown guy. Gave up an earned run his last time out. But this time, he looks to strand all those inherited runners. He's only got to get one, but it is Gabriel Chavez. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. So the bases are loaded here in the top of the seventh of this 2-2 ball game between the Riptide and the Saints. It's going to be Tomlinson versus Chavez. Two technically all-star snubs in my eyes. Both of them have had spectacular seasons, and now the two of them are going to go head-to-head. Tomlinson, the team leader in innings pitched for relievers. A 1.35 ERA. He has been lights out. First pitch is a two-seam fastball at the knees, 0-1. In Tomlinson's 9 games he's appeared in, he's had 3 saves, which leads the Riptide. 21 strikeouts in 20 innings. And a whip of .95. He's been very efficient with his pitches. Batting average also of 181, and he has allowed almost no hard contact. Count is 1-1 to Chavez. A fastball lands on the outside corners, 1-2. Chavez, the shortest player on either team. It's tough to strike him out. He's got a little strike zone. Tomlinson, very good at keeping the ball low in the zone. He's putting that to good use right now. The 1-2. Slider. You could see Chavez wiggle his bat. He thought about swinging at that one, but held up. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tomlinson wears unlucky number 13, but it's been very lucky when the Riptide have used him. There's a breaking ball. Nice take by Chavez. It's outside. Counts full. And this is what every hitter dreams of, don't they? I guarantee you there's not a single kid that hasn't dreamt of this. Tie ball game, 2 outs, full count. Albeit it's usually in the 9th inning, but here we're in the 7th. And there's a fastball high and tight. That's going to be ball 4. So Tomlinson walks in Briggs, the inherited runner. And that puts the Saints up top 3-2. Now up the 2 spot, Brendan Shearer. Shearer 0 for 4 thus far. He's rolled over to the first baseman Polson, popped up to Gomez in foul territory, and then the 5th and 6th, in just the 6th, he's 0 for 3. He grounded out to Phillip. Here he takes a fastball, strike 1. Looking to get out of this with as little damage done as possible. The 0-1 delivery from Tomlinson. Grounded to the second baseman Williams, who has it. Takes his time and makes the nice easy throw on the first to retire the side. But all of a sudden, it was a 2-1 ball game Riptide lead. Now it's a 3-2 Saints lead. We head to the 7th inning stretch. Everybody get your yoga mats out. This is going to be a nice one. We might be here a while. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That seems to be what Anthony Chevrier is using here as Junpei Akanuma is returning out there for his 7th inning of work. He's been lights out through 6, and why not keep him out there? You're facing the number 1 team. You need a win here, and Akanuma has been very good. First pitch is to Polshin. It's a breaking ball that stays above the letters, 1-0. The 1-0 delivery from Akanuma. Fastball down low this time, 2-0. So it's been up high with the breaking ball, down low with the fastball. And all of a sudden, Polshin is ahead in the count by far. 2-0. The 2-0 is a fastball at the knees, 2-1. 3-2 ball game. The Saints scored in the top half of this inning. After 4 walks, 3 from Hunter Biggie and 1 from Will Tomlinson. Tomlinson eventually got out of the inning with only 1 run across. There's a slider that ends up on the outside corner. 2-2, the count's even. Polshin, team leader in doubles. He's got 8 on the year. That matches his number on his back. The 2-2 is grounded to the first baseman Derna, who falls to a knee, flips it over to Akanuma, who was covering first, to retire his man. 1 gone.
Next up, the first baseman from the University of Hawaii, number 17, Logan Holton.
So Polson up to the plate now. Polson has an RBI double and grounded out to Chavez back in the second. That RBI double could have been a triple. Polson was just a little bit quicker, but that was a nice throw and relay between McGee and Chavez to get him at third. Polson said he was trying to lift it, still without a home run on the year. I'm sure that's bugging him a little bit. First pitch, a fastball inside, 1-0. Kerner had a little bit trouble holding on to that one. Polson has also pitched for the Riptide. He's gone through 3 2/3 innings. He's actually been very, very good. In those 3 2/3, that's equal to 11 hitters. He's had 5 strikeouts and only allowed 1 hit. Hasn't walked anybody either. So he's somebody who we might see later on if they need him. If this game goes to extra innings and we need a couple more pitchers than usual, Polson, a very likely candidate. Couple that with Will Proctor, who's also been out in the field and pitched. The two of them we might see later on in the game, not in the field, but on the mound. Well, technically that's in the field, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. They've had 5 hits since the 5th. Since then, they have not been able to get any hits. Since the 4th, excuse me. 2-1 is way inside after the foul ball by Polson. 3-1. Polson fouled it off of his foot, and it looked for a second like he was in pain. He stepped away and sort of held on to it for a little bit. He seems to be all right. The 3-1 is outside, ball 4. Polson will take a leisurely stroll on down to first with a 1-out walk. That's only the second walk issued by Polson. The second walk issued by Akanuma, excuse me. Polson is on first. Cooper Ewell up to the plate now. And now Chevrier is going to go out and talk to his man Akanuma on the mound. Bullpen is going for the Saints. We'll see if Akanuma has to give up the pearl. I would doubt it. Just seems like Turner got started warming up once again recently. And your arm doesn't stay warm all the time after you've warmed up. So this meeting will probably be a short one, just reminding him what he has to do, reminding him that they're only ahead by 1, so he can't afford many more mistakes. And he will not give up the ball. Kerner involved in the meeting as well. He'll head back behind home plate. And it'll be a runner on first, Polson, with Cooper Ewell at the plate. Ewell from Loyola Marymount University. He's got one of the best arms in the league. We've seen it a couple times already. His versatility is what makes him key. One of the 7 All-Stars for the Riptide, and one of the only 2 that did not get to see action during the All-Star game. Polson is actually going to get pinch run for. Coming in for him is Connor Beck. So Beck will end up on first for Cooper Ewell, and that adds a lot more speed to the base paths. Everybody saw Polson get thrown out at third. Beck, not one of those people who would also get thrown out at third. He is much quicker. Ewell at the plate from Loyola Marymount University. First pitch from Akanuma, a breaking ball up high. 1-0. Ewell from Mission Viejo. He made the All-WCC freshman team last year for LMU, where he hit .210 and put together a 7-game hit streak in which he hit .292. He drove in 13 runs as well and had a pretty substantial role behind the plate for LMU. He's got baseball in his blood. His mom played softball for Long Beach State. His sister also attends LMU. The 2-0. Swung on and grounded to the shortstop Briggs. 6, 4, 3. A nice dig by Derna at first will retire the side. So they get a 1-out walk, but for the second time it's been negated by a double play. First by Miranda and this time by Ewell. We head to the top half of the 8th. Still a 3-2 ball game. The Riptide trail. We'll be right back on the OC Riptide Network. Stay tuned. 3, 4, 5 hitters, Burton, Mossberg, and Harrell coming up against Tomlinson, who returns out there after walking in an inherited runner with the bases loaded. He now has the bases empty to lead off the top of the 8th. First pitch that Burton sees is a fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. I love this umpire. He's got such loud calls. I always know when it's a ball. I always know where I missed if it was a ball, and I always know if it's a strike. I don't even have to look up. However, I do love watching the game of baseball. There's a slider outside, 1-1. The count's even. Defense lined up expecting Burton to pull. Phillip and Williams shifted to the left of their respective position. Here he pops it to the right side, though, and in foul territory, Connor Beck makes the catch. 1 gone. So Beck replacing Polson out at first base. Not sure whether or not he was going to be taken out and replaced with somebody who has a more extensive career at first. Connor Beck's normal position is in the outfield, but like most players, he probably played a little bit of first base in high school, and they said, well, you know what, that'll be good enough. And he looked pretty in place there. There's a breaking ball to Mossberg just inside. It stays 1-0. The 1-0 to Mossberg. Fastball grounded down the line. Nice play by Gomez. Takes his time. The hard throw on the first gets Mossberg by a step. That was an absolute rocket to the hot corner. That's why it's called that. And Gomez, not even phased, just made the backhanded play and tossed on over to Beck. 2 gone for the 5 spot, Corey Harrell. Harrell is 0 for 3. Grounded out to Phillip. Grounded out to Reynoso. And struck out. That was back in the 7th. Will Tomlinson is a strikeout guy, but has not struck out any of the 4 batters he's faced thus far. First pitch. Breaking ball down low and away. 1-0. Tomlinson from Brown University, majoring in economics. The 1-0. Grounded to the shortstop, Phillip. He'll have it on the backhand. Tricky hop, but he got it anyway, and the throw was not in time. It gets through. And Ewell, the catcher, there to back up. Kids, I tell you to watch a lot of baseball and watch what the great players do. Ewell saved the runner from getting into scoring position there by backing up from the catcher's position. Yes, you've got 700 pounds of gear on. Yes, it's very hot outside and you don't want to run. But Cooper Ewell, on every ground ball, you will see him racing down the line and sometimes beat runners to first base. And there he was able to back up the errant throw from Phillip. It would have been a tough play, and Harrell beat it anyway. It was a tricky hop, and he got it in his glove anyway, had trouble with the transfer. It wasn't an error, though. Harrell would have beat it either way. So that infield single puts a man on first. With 2 gone for Tyler Durna. Yesterday, Durna 0 for 2 in the All-Star game. Came in as a reserve. The only Saint to start in the All-Star game was Blake Burton, who actually was the leadoff man in the All-Star game. 0-1 the count to Durna, who takes a breaking ball that stays outside, 1-1. Man on first is Harrell, holding him on is Beck. Beck came in as a pinch runner for Polson back in the bottom of the 7th. We're in the top of the 8th, a 3-2 ball game. There's a changeup that falls low, right in front of the catcher, Ewell. 2-1. The lefty Durna facing the righty Tomlinson. Tomlinson has been great all year, looking to keep it going. That pitch is low and inside with the fastball. Hitters count 3-1. Waiting on deck, Alex Briggs. Briggs has scored a run in this game. That was the go-ahead run back in the top of the 7th. Looking to make sure he'll lead off the next inning. Here Durna pops it up, behind the plate, Ewell giving chase. And he makes the catch. A nice effort by Ewell. That's always tough when you have to run back on a pop-up behind home plate. Still a 3-2 ball game. The Riptide trail. But they got Gomez, Williams, and Parente coming up. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. So Gomez in to face Akanuma, who's out there for his 8th inning of work. He had to have a meeting last time out, so maybe if he gets into some trouble here, we might see somebody out of the bullpen for the Saints. But Gomez is going to be the first one to face him here in the bottom of the 8th, a 3-2 ball game. First pitch he sees is a fastball up high, 1-0. On today, Gomez 0 for 2. He hit a line drive to Shearer over at third and grounded out to Shearer as well. Here he grounds it to third base, but just foul to the left of the bag. 1-1. Teams are even in runs, and the Riptide have had more extra base hits, but it's been the walks that have been the killer for the Riptide. 7-3 in favor for the Saints. There's a breaking ball that ends up on the outside corner, 1-2. Akanuma came in today with a 5.57 ERA. Wasn't pitching the greatest, but here, by far his best performance on the season. Gomez just makes a slight contact, shallow fly ball in the left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Gomez takes a big turn around first. It was fumbled a little bit by Burton in left. So Gomez thought about trying for second, but holds back. There's going to be a runner on to lead off the inning with that single. Gomez had 2 strikes on him. Didn't have a lot he could do. So he just sort of poked his bat out there, probably trying to just foul it off and wait for something better. But instead it ends up a base hit. And hey, that was a little blooper, a little bit lucky for Gomez, but in the scorebook, that's a line drive right back up the middle. Exactly what you want. Just read 1B. That one was a fastball up high to Williams, the 9 spot. 1-0. The 1-0 pitch is a fastball, a little bit lower, but at the top of the zone this time, 1-1. Gomez, 2 is on the year, so he is a threat to go. He's been caught once as well. There's a pickoff attempt, and not in time. Gomez gets dirty. Riptide now leading the Saints in hits, 6-5. The 1-1 delivery from Akanuma is instead a pickoff again, and Gomez gets dirty once again. First base coach Glenn Walker, he's in charge of determining when or when not to steal. I thought it was Peterson, because Peterson sometimes gives signs. But actually, I was talking with Glenn very early on in the season, and it was after a game during the Riptide's very early 1-4 stretch to start off the season, where they got caught 3 times in one game. Here's a line drive right back up the middle. Mossberg has a beat on it and makes the catch, 1 gone. Looked for a second like it might drop into center field, but instead just sort of had too much backspin on it and carried out to right where Mossberg was. And there's 1 gone, 1 on for Joey Parente. Parente, the father of speed, as I like to say. Second on the team in stolen bases with 11. Bo Phillip, the 2 spot, the only person with more. Parente, 0 for 3. Phillip has 12. Parente has 11 stolen bases, and they are currently 3rd and 4th in the CCL. There's a breaking ball that stays outside, 1-0. Parente has a 4-game hit streak, looking to extend it right here. Move Gomez over to second or third. Gomez has good speed, so something weak that gets into the outfield would likely get him over to third. They've already hit into 2 double plays. Parente, hard to double up, but it could happen. Here he check swings, and he didn't want to swing, but it was inside and had to lean away, so he goes across the plate, and it's 1-1. That was a fastball high and tight. Parente just trying to protect himself. Check swung, and went past the plate. We're in the bottom of the 8th, a 3-2 lead for the Saints. Parente flies this one out into left field. Burton takes a couple steps back and makes the catch. 2 gone.
Next up, the shortstop from San Joaquin Delta.
That's actually the first fly ball that Burton has caught on left. In fact, it's the first fly ball that anybody has caught in the outfield besides the center fielder Mossberg. Parente actually flew out to the right fielder McGee back in the 5th, but other than that, that was the only fly ball to either corner outfielder. Only 2 for each of them. It's been ground balls galore. Nice job by Junpei Akanuma on the mound to keep the ball low in the zone and force them to hit ground balls through the infield. Bo Phillip is at the plate. Another pickoff attempt to Gomez, who slides back in safely. There have been no swords seen, but it has been a pitcher's duel. Reynoso and Akanuma battled each other through 5, both giving up 2 earned runs. Reynoso got taken out for Biggie, who ended up walking 3. One of them would come around to score. And that's where we stand. A walk to Gabriel Chavez with the bases loaded is the difference between these 2 teams right now. 0-1 the count to Phillip. Phillip swings and slaps it into right center field. Gomez will take a big turn around second and hold up. But another single puts 2 on with 2 gone for the Riptide. That's the first hit of the game for Phillip. For Dominic Fletcher. And it's always playing with fire when you have Fletcher up at bat. Even with 2 away. Fletcher 1 for 3 on the day. He's gotten on base twice. He singled back in the first. A questionable call. A lot of people thought it would be an error. And then he grounded out to the second baseman Chavez and then struck out, but it was a drop third strike, and he ended up getting to first. It would later be negated by the double play by Miranda. So now Akanuma looks like he's going to be coming out into the game, and it's going to be Tim Turner who heads into the ball game, and he'll be handed the pearl with 2 on and 2 gone here in the bottom half of the 8th. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. two men on are Paul Gomez and Paul Gomez and Bo Phillip, for Dominic Fletcher. Fletcher is going to look to put a knot in this game and possibly put the Riptide in front. They trail 3-2 right now, but they have 7 hits compared to the Saints' 5. Just have not been able to string them together and have been negated by 2 double plays. He's going to face the lefty, Tim Turner, so Anthony Chevrier opting to go lefty-lefty matchup, the good matchup pitching-wise, from George Mason University, the Patriots. Turner out of the stretch, the first pitch to Fletcher. Breaking ball, a little 12-6 curve action it looked like, maybe just a curveball. 1-0, and a good take from Fletcher. Turner has appeared in 7 games. He's given up no earned runs, 1 run across his 10 2/3 innings work with 10 strikeouts. He's had a little bit of trouble getting control. Sometimes he's walked 5 and given up 8 hits for a whip of 1.22. 2-0 is the count right now to Fletcher. Fletcher looking for something good. He sees something good that he likes, but fouls it off to the left side and out of play. 2-1. On deck waits David Miranda. Miranda 0 for 3 on the day, the All-Star Game MVP, or co-MVP as he'd like to put it. Wants to share the award with Joey Parente, who both hit home runs in the All-Star Game. The 2-1 from Turner. Breaking ball. High fly ball out in the left center field. Mossberg racing over, and he will not make the catch. This one's going to end up in the gap. Gomez scores. Around third comes Phillip. Phillip scores, and a double by Fletcher puts the Riptide back on top 4-3. For a second, it looked like Mossberg had a beat on it. It looked like he was running out and was going to get there before the ball dropped, but the ball kept slicing away. And the right fielder and the left fielder, Burton, didn't think he was going to have a chance too, but they both collided and were about 2 feet each away from the ball when it landed. So a nice job by Fletcher, coming up very, very clutch, and he's in scoring position now in a brand new ball game where the Riptide lead heading into the 9th, perhaps. Albeit it's just by 1, and we'll see if Tomlinson stays into the game. He's been their closer, and he might get the win here. First pitch to Miranda. Down low, ball 1. The cleanup man, David Miranda. Defense lined up expecting him to pull. Big hole off the edge of third base. He fouls that one off to the left side. 1-1. From the left side, going up against the tough lefty-lefty matchup, but Fletcher beat it. Miranda looking to do the same. They're up by only 1, looking for an insurance run. 4 runs on 8 hits. The pitch fouled straight back. Once again, 1-2 now. Miranda's taking good cuts. He's liking what he's seeing, but he's just a little bit underneath each ball. Looking to hit it, looking to square it up. He faces a devastating hitter's hole, 1-2. The breaking ball lined straight at Chavez, who will catch it on the fly. Good contact made by Miranda, but nothing comes of it. Dominic Fletcher, the 2 RBI double, puts the Riptide on top 4-3. We'll be right back with the top of the 9th. The Riptide looking for their 6th straight win, and all of a sudden, it looks like they're going to get it. But I don't want to jinx anything. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. So this is exactly where Tomlinson wants to be in the top of the ninth, holding on to a one-run lead. He's out there again. It's the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Briggs, McGee, and Kerner. First pitch to Briggs. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Albeit, this hasn't looked like your typical bottom of the lineup today. Every one of these men has gotten on base at least once. In the case of Briggs and Kerner, it's been at least twice, and in the case of Kerner, all 3 times. That one was a fastball low and away, 1-1, the count's even. Briggs has been very patient all day. He's walked twice and struck out. Has not made contact in play. Tomlinson looking for his first win of the year. Here's a high chopper down the third baseline, foul. Nice play by the third base coach for the Saints. Gomez gave chase. Gomez only a couple feet off of the third base line. Looks like they're expecting him to pull. However, they are leaving very big holes in the 43 hole and 56 hole. Both are gaping, it seems like. First baseman Beck also playing only a couple feet off the first baseline. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed by Briggs. He struck him out. Second strikeout against Briggs. First strikeout for Tomlinson. That's not what we normally expect to see. Now he's back to over a 9 Ks per inning pitched. With 22 in this 21 2/3 thus far. He'll be at 22 in the third if he finishes out this inning. So he might need another one to keep above that 9 Ks per innings pitched. A lot of people speculated he was going to be an all-star. There's a 2-seam fastball swung over the top by McGee, 0-1. And I talked to Tomlinson. I said, do you think you should have been an all-star? And it was right after he gave up a run to the San Luis Obispo Blues. And he said, no, I mean, I gave up a run. I don't deserve to be an all-star. And I said, well, are you a little bit jealous? And he said, I mean, I get 2 days off. They only get 1. So he was a little bit happy about that. And, I mean, like, it's a good, it's bittersweet for everybody not named to the All-Star team because, of course, you're not on the All-Star team and you always want that recognition. I mean, who wouldn't? But also, you do get a couple more days rest. You get to watch as a fan, which is one of the best experiences that a high-level baseball player can get. In fact, I remember the St. Louis Cardinals were talking to Yadier Molina, who went this past year and played at the World Baseball Classic for the Dominican Republic. And Yadier Molina asked, what did I miss when he got back to the club? And the biggest thing that the Cardinals said, I remember, I think it was Matt Carpenter. I think it was Carpenter who told Molina this. He said, "You missed being a fan." That was the best thing while they were there. Nobody was on the team. They were just cheering for the Dominican Republic or the USA, depending on where they were from. And that's just a tough thing to do. You don't get it a lot when you're a professional ball player. You gotta play every day. You can't cheer for a team other than your own. So just being able to cheer for something, having someone to back, just so special to all the high-level baseball players. It counts 1-2 to McGee, looking for his second strikeout of the inning. He got Briggs to swing over the top of a slider. We might see that here. It was the exact same count. Ewell sets up away the pitch. Slider, there it was. McGee lays off, 2-2 now. Sorry if I get a little quieter when I'm talking about possible pitches. I don't want them to hear me. And you think, oh, they're not going to hear you, but I'm actually kind of close to the game. There's a high fly ball out to deep right field. Couple steps in front of the track. Parente moseys back and makes the catch. Looked like it might be trouble for a little bit. Carried a little bit further than a lot of people probably thought it would have. But Parente, not too worried. Makes the catch. 2 gone.
Next up, the catcher number 30, Mitch Kerner.
So now the 9 spot, Mitch Kerner. Kerner's gotten on base all 3 times. He's walked twice, once 4 pitches, once 5 pitches, and then got hit by a pitch in a 1-2 count. Tomlinson gets ahead here with a fastball across the knees, 0-1. The Riptide dugout was dead a couple innings ago. You could hear a pin drop over there. The 2-run double by Fletcher has them in the lead, and all of a sudden you can hear everybody cheering. There, Kerner fouls this one off, a hard line drive to the right side. Actually bumped into the Saints bullpen. Now 0-2. And it's a shame. Akanuma comes away with all 4 runs being credited to him. That denies him the quality start. Here's a hard line drive out to right field. That one's going to fall into fair territory. Parente is going to give chase. He's in the corner. Kerner's going to try for 2, and Parente is going to have some trouble with it and not going to be able to get it back into the infield in time to get Kerner. That puts a runner in scoring position for the top of the lineup, Gabriel Chavez.
Next up is second baseman, number 1, Gabe Chavez.
So Gabe Chavez, he's got to be Superman with the bat in his hand right now. He's reached base 3 times, once via fielder's choice, once a single, and once a walk. So he's had a merry-go-round of ways to reach first base. Tomlinson, who's been so good all year. Only 3 earned runs given up all year. Looking to keep that going. A single right now would likely tie it, and we'd probably head to the bottom of the 9th. He's got to get Chavez out. First pitch. Hard line drive down the left field line. Hooks foul. Somebody get the defibrillator. I'm sure somebody's heart stopped for a second. Chavez will walk slowly back to the plate. Tomlinson, still good. It's just a strike. Just got to keep playing catch. Last time these two faced each other, Chavez walked, and that was with the bases loaded, which gave the Saints a 3-2 lead. And then the bottom of the 8th, the only crooked number up on the board, 2 runs for the Riptide. Mitch Kerner actually got pinch run for. Not quite sure who that is. I'll let you know as soon as I can tell. Looks like Greg White. The 1-1 delivery from Tomlinson. Fastball across the knees, 1-2. And they are just a strike away from coming away with this one. It would be their 6th straight win. And it would push the Riptide to a 4.5 game lead in the Southern Division. And here's a soft ground ball out to Beck. Beck fields it cleanly and steps on first. So he doesn't get the strikeout, but he gets the easy ground ball to end the game. A 4-3 victory for the Riptide. I've been saying that a lot. 6th straight win, 4.5 games up on the Saints in the Southern Division. Player of the game, Dominic Fletcher, a 2-run double to give them the lead. They come away with it. That was a nail-biter throughout. Stay tuned for a couple of post-game interviews with me, Michael Hofling. And why not go down to Parkstone Restaurant after it? It's a great restaurant for burgers, and that's my favorite food. Sorry, Mom and Dad, it's not apples like I tell you at home. Riptide, get the 4-3 victory. Stay tuned for the interviews. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network.